Hey, turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro electro tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Well, hello everyone, this is Retro Ernest of Retro Electro Tech, and I'm back with the Pioneer SX780, of which I just did a completion video on. In that video I mentioned that if during testing, which I have been doing for the last few days or so, if a problem was to crop up, I was going to roll some video footage and get into a little bit of the troubleshooting, and that's what I'm doing now. So on that note, everything has been working beautifully, but I noticed a problem with the phono stage after the unit has been on for a while. It's a very intermittent problem that just kind of comes and goes. Now when it rears its ugly head, it stays for a little bit, but then it kicks back out. Okay, so what it is the right channel will drop out a little bit and become diminished. It doesn't tap out completely and go away, but it becomes diminished while the left channel spikes a bit and develops a harsh sonic characteristic to it. When that first happened, I immediately started messing around with a few of the controls, namely the input selector, because that's pretty much where the signal goes after the phono stage. So I messed around with that a little bit, but that didn't appear to have any influence on the problem. And I say it didn't appear to because, again, the problem is intermittent, so it was a little bit difficult to pinpoint for sure. But what I did notice for certain, and I'm just barely getting into the troubleshooting aspect of it right now, as far as steps that I'm going to take to hopefully remedy the problem. So yeah, other than just playing around with a few controls, I haven't really done anything. The only other thing I did when the problem started, and what I can say with absolute certainty, is that by using a non-conductive pointer or rod or whatever you want to call it, pokey stick, and from the top side I was applying pressure to this phono stage area here. I was applying pressure, and that seemed to influence that harsh sonic characteristic that I was talking about in the left channel. That seemed to have some influence on it a bit. So yeah, anyways, my plan of action right now, let me go ahead and change views here and we'll zoom in on this area. Alright, so here we are a little bit more up close and personal. So I'm going to start with solidifying solder joints in this stage here, the phono stage, this area. And I'm going to start with the ICs, okay? So at the beginning of the stage we have these HC 1457 high gain, low noise op amps ICs, and they're of course dependent on an external network of resistors and caps, of which are involved in the RIAA circuitry, the negative feedback network or loop. So remember I said that this problem takes a while to occur, and that tells me that there may be something going on that's related to thermal expansion. So I'm not saying for sure. Again, I'm at the beginning stages of things, so it makes sense though that the problem that I'm describing, where you have one channel becoming diminished, the other one spiking up and becoming harsh in character, then it sounds to me like, yeah, a connection might be opening up or breaking in such a way that it's affecting the negative feedback loop and causing an open loop gain situation that's maybe affecting that left channel. Again, I don't know for sure, but that's what it sounds like. There could be some other components involved for sure, including the ICs themselves. When they're coming up to temperature, one of the ICs might be exhibiting a problem there. But I will find out as I start ruling out some obvious things first. because although the solder joints visibly look okay, that doesn't mean that they are. It doesn't take a solder joint that looks like absolute garbage to cause a problem. And sometimes it's hard to spot some solder joints that have some micro fractures going on, or even a trace. It's hard to spot with just, you know, a magnified light. And sometimes you got to go deeper dive with magnification and really examine the solder joints to see you know, signs that there may be an issue with connectivity or whatever. So anyways, but I won't dive deep into that. What I will do though is just go through, and I'm going to start with the IC pins and start solidifying those and expand my way out and just start hitting all these solder joints so that I could at least be assured and rule out, you know, from the equation any fickle solder joints. So I'm going to make sure that they're all looking good. And I have a feeling that that's probably going to resolve the problem, unless there's something going on with an actual failing component, which, you know, I'm not going to automatically just assume that it's the ICs, although it could be, or something else going on with a cap or something like that. You never know. But being that there was some influence there, again, when I was pressing down with the pokey stick, a pretty good diagnostic tool, by the way, especially in the early stages of just going through and trying to hunt down a problem real quick. Being that there was some influence, I have a feeling that when I clean all this up, that may do it. Again, as far as the input selector switch goes, there's always that possibility, but being that I worked it pretty good, flushed it out pretty good, I really don't think that that's a problem. Although, like I said, it didn't seem to have much of an influence at all, but I don't know that for sure, and I don't want to just conclude that, oh yeah, that's fine, there's no problem. But if I do find out that, you know, after I suss out all this in here and various components and whatnot, solder joints, if I find out that something leads me back to this switch, then because I already you know, did some multi-passes, multi-flushing on it, and I probably will do a little bit more, but if I find out that's the case, then I'm going to have to get all this wiring out of the way and pull the switch out. It's a pretty big switch. I'm going to have to pull it out, and at that point I'm just going to open it up, go in and do what I have to do there to resolve any connection issues that perhaps the multi-pass, multi-flush cleaning, you know, may not have resolved. But again, I don't think that that's the case. Alright, so I wrapped up all the solder joints under here. I'm going to get the cover back on, just with a few screws and the likelihood that I'm going to have to get back under here again. Flip this thing over and give it a test run. Alright, so I've been listening to vinyl for a while now, maybe about hour and a half, something like that. With the volume cranked up pretty good. Again, putting this unit through its paces. Everything has been doing okay. I've been applying a little bit of heat to, again, the ICs, the HC 1457s, and some of the other components, caps and resistors within the network. So anyways, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to play some vinyl that hopefully you two won't recognize. And what I'm going to put on is the Dukes of Hazzard. See the pictures, hear the story, read the book. So I'm going to put this on, and hopefully I won't get some kind of a copyright claim or strike or whatever. So my only options are to do something like that, or pipe in a low-level signal via the function generator, and I don't want to do that because neither you or myself wants to sit here listening to a tone while I go through and, you know, apply heat, apply some pressure to the board and all that. So okay, here we go.
This is your Dukes of Hazzard read-along book. Every time you hear this chime, It means it's time to turn the page in your storybook. Now, we are ready to begin. Open your book, and we will start our story. And remember, when you hear the chime, turn the page. Well, howdy y'all, and welcome to Hazard County. Population 202. That ain't counting the 500 or so chickens and the 200 or so hound dogs, of course. Now, Hazard County may look like a quiet little southern county, but I can assure you that nothing, and I do mean nothing, could
So I'm heating up these ICs first.
Now, right there go two of the reasons this county never sees a moment's peace and quiet. That there is Bo and Luke Duke.
Start heating up some of these caps.
The good old General Lee. Don't get me wrong, them Duke boys is right nice fellas, even you're on their good side. But if there's trouble within 100 miles of Hazard County, somehow Bo and Luke always manage to find themselves right smack dab in the middle of it all. Over there, sitting on her Jeep, is Cousin Daisy Duke.
Oh yeah, Daisy Duke.
She ain't the prettiest gal south of the Mason-Dixon line.
You betcha.
Groundhog's grandpa. Out there is Uncle Jesse over there on the porch. He's mighty proud of Miss Daisy, that's for sure.
Aren't we all?
Well, looky here. See that big white Cadillac roaring up the road? I'll bet you a barrel full of moonshine I know who's driving that thing. Yep, just like I thought. It's Boss Hall, County Commissioner for Hazard County. Just look at him a puffin' and a fuming. He's madder than a wet hen about something. And when Boss Hall gets his temper up, you best stay out of his way. You see, Boss Hogg is up for re-election this year, and it seems that someone has been sneaking around Hazard County, painting funny faces and mustaches all over Boss Hogg's posters and billboards. He's convinced that the culprits are none other than the Duke boys, Bo and Luke. He must be plumb loco. Those two would never do anything like that.
Okay.
Now, I want you to understand, Boss Hall is not the most honest man in Hazard County. He'd steal a widow's pension if he thought he could get away with it. In order to prove that Bo and Luke are behind
There we go.
painting, he went and put a light and took that can of paint right out of General Lee's trunk and put it in the front seat of Boss Hogg's Cadillac.
Okay, so you guys probably heard that when I was, yeah. I was tapping on this cap here. Okay, I'm gonna replace these caps here in this area, and then come on back and try her again. So I don't know if a combination of heating these things up and tapping them and all that kind of trigger that. Yeah, you see? Hear that? Of course you do. Yeah, I'm gonna get these caps out of here. Okay, let's get those caps out of there. I'm sure some of you guys are probably bummed out that I didn't finish up the story, huh? Oh well. And make sure that's the right cap. Yeah, those are the right ones. Like I said, I'm gonna end up replacing several of them. Alright, let's get all these replacement caps soldered in. So I ended up replacing 6 of them. Okay, so I ended up replacing 6 of the electrolytics that I felt were the most important. So anyways, that being said, among these are, the one that of course was producing noise when I was tapping on it, moving it around. So that being said, yeah, when I pulled them out, they were reading high. The capacitance was reading high on them, which tells me that they're breaking down internally. So, and obviously because of the noise that was being produced there. And I know the solder joints were good because I had touched up all the solder joints, so it wasn't a loose connection or anything like that. These things are probably getting leaky. Again, the capacitance is high on them, so I'm sure the the insulative layer within is starting to break down. Things are going leaky. The ESR didn't look too bad, but again, they're breaking down. So I got all the caps out of there that were important. In fact, the noisy cap is one in which is in the AC feedback loop. So it has to do with setting the gain, stabilizing the gain, setting the gain where it needs to be, at least in part. So yeah, it's out of there. That's good. I got the new caps in, soldered in. So let me flip it around and give it another go, and then I'll report back on my findings. Okay, so it's been at least a few hours that I've been running this thing, and I'm going to keep testing it. I want to be double, triple sure, but as far as this video is concerned, I just want to wrap it up. And if there's anything else that I find, well, I'll deal with it. I may not even roll footage because I'm not going to keep rolling footage if things keep cropping up. Like I said, because of all the testing I've done thus far, I do believe everything is fine. And like I said earlier, everything was doing really well except for the occasional problem with the phono stage that I pointed out. And you guys witnessed it as well, especially when I started heating things up and then started tapping on that cap. You witnessed what I was talking about. So since I got those caps replaced, everything's been absolutely fine. I was heating up parts again. I was tapping on them again. Not a single hiccup. So I believe I got the bug. See, that's a problem with intermittent issues, is that if anything does end up cropping up again and it's very intermittent and it only shows itself every now and then that's why these type of troubleshooting scenarios can be a little bit challenging. But I believe I honed in on it. And sorry I didn't finish up the Dukes of Hazzard story time, but maybe next time around. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end it here. I believe that I got the problem resolved. As I always say, peace, love, music, and the vintage audio that brings it to your ears. Till next time, y'all take care.
This has been a Spinning Head production.